Welcome to the Quarantine Show, keeping you ill-informed of what's going on in and around Sarnia-Lambton. He couldn't even get a job at the Rebel, so he started his own shitty news show. Here's Richard Head. Hey, come on. Can't we get anything right here? That's only half right. I've never actually tried to go for the Rebel. Anyway, Richard Head with you. You can call me Dick. It's another week of the Quarantine Show as quarantine continues for God knows how long. I do know that the Ontario government, though, did stretch this out for another 28 days, so the shit show did get an extension. You can be happy about that. Live from the safest place in town, the Bayside Mall. Time to get into it here and keep you ill-informed on what's going on in and around Sarnia-Lambton. Of course, Sarnia-Lambton MP Marilyn Gladu and former poet was sparking some outrage this week. In an interview with Blackburn News' Melanie Irwin, Gladu incorrectly touted a nearly 100% recovery rate with the drug hydroxychloroquine and said that seniors and people with underlying health issues need to self-isolate and protect themselves, but for the rest of the public, we need to get back to work and we need to implement the cures that have been proven and are being done with our partners and our friends, the U.S. Now, of course, nothing has been proven with hydroxychloroquine, and really, we don't know a whole lot about the anti-malaria drug, but there is one guy who does, so let's let him fill you in.
A drug called chloroquine, and some people would add to it hydroxychloroquine. Now, this is a common malaria drug. It's also a drug used for strong arthritis. Somebody has pretty serious arthritis. But the nice part is it's been around for a long time. So we know that if things don't go as planned, it's not going to kill anybody.
Ah, yes, the old chloroquine, which some people like to put hydroxy in front of. Such a scientific viewpoint right there. Numerous studies, speaking of scientific viewpoints, are underway in Canada to test the efficacy of hydroxychloroquine, including one at the Western University in London, where researchers are stressing that they don't quite yet know if it's safe or effective, and are certainly not routinely recommending it. For what it's worth, earlier this week, the CIA had also stated they didn't want any of their employees taking hydroxychloroquine, and that's a pretty big deal. Spies will take a cyanide pill. However, Gladu has since taken to Twitter to say that her comments were taken out of context and that she would continue to press the government for answers. The shit show reached out for comment on the story, and we're told, off. Apparently, nobody fired up their toaster ovens in the office. Just a week after saying it would remain open, the city of Sarnia has announced that the Sarnia boat launch will close. That's right, the boat ramp was one of the last remaining amenities within the city that was still able to be used during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is leading many residents to wonder, who the hell gave COVID-19 a boating license? Mayor Mike Bradley insists, though, that there was considerable debate on the issue in the last 2 weeks, and that for every one person upset that the boat ramp has closed, there is another questioning why it is open, and he noted that the control group decided to make the decision for the greater good of the community. Now, good news, though, unlike our friends over in Michigan, boating has not yet to be banned, so if you can get your boat in the water, you can absolutely do so. And just think, on the bright side, we're already used to not using that boat ramp. Speaking of COVID rules, though, it seems much confusion has been happening on what is allowed and what is not allowed. While the government tightens regulations and offers recommendations of staying home, it seems these guidelines are a do as we say, not as we do kind of situation. Earlier this week, over the Easter holiday, it was noticed that the Prime Moistener, Justin Trudeau, was able to slip across the Quebec border and head to the cottage and meet up with the families just shortly after asking Canadians not to do so. Also, Conservative MP and former leader Andrew Scheer found himself in a little bit of hot water after it was found out that he took a government jet, loaded up his family on that plane alongside the Green Party leader Elizabeth May and the Employment Minister Carla Quattro, and flew them across the country. When asked if he felt it was hypocritical, this is what Scheer had to say.
That's the choice we made instead of flying through multiple airports on other types of flights where there likely would have been many other passengers as well. That's the decision we made. We took long disinfectant wipes. We didn't interact with each other. We made sure that we weren't speaking moistly on each other.
Yes, so there you go. As long as we're not speaking moistly, we're good. So make sure you're a dry talker. Let's take a look now, though, at some of these rules. We'll kind of recap what you can and cannot do based on what we've seen so far. So just as a reminder, if you're planning on heading to the cottage, as long as you're the prime moistener, that is okay. You're allowed to do that. Do you want to rollerblade with your immediate family? No, that's fine. You're going to get fined for that. Don't do it. Wait, you want to bring your family on a plane that's going to have more than 5 people on it? You betcha that's allowed. Why not, right? And if you want to wait in line or maybe go to a store or a grocery store that is absolutely packed with people, that is also okay. Want to go and sing happy birthday to grandma out in her yard and keep socially distanced? Nope, that's fine. Can't do that. That's certainly not allowed, so don't try. We hope at the Quarantine Shit Show that we've been able to clear up any confusion on the social distancing laws. We also remind you, too, though, if you feel any rage kind of burning inside of you over these laws, please put it out quickly because fires are banned, too. Premier Doug Ford says Canada should immediately reject any notion from Donald Trump that the U.S.-Canadian border should be open to inessential travel. Ford says COVID-19 pandemic has not been sufficiently contained to warrant lifting restrictions aimed at containing the spread of the coronavirus and urges Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to back off. And in which case the Prime Moistener absolutely did. The border will be closed for an additional 30 days. Does anybody remember when travel bans were racist?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That's just about going to do it for the Quarantine Shit Show this week, but before I go, can I leave you off with just a little bit of hope for these dark, lonely, porn and pot-filled days? Well, that could just be me. Researchers around the world are trying to find a cure or possibly a vaccine as well so that we can somehow get our lives back to normal and get those economies back up and running. A couple of things that are being checked out. A Chicago hospital is treating severe COVID-19 patients with a Gilead Sciences antiviral medicine, remdesivir. In a closely watched clinical trial, they're saying that folks have been recovered and out in about a week or so they'll be paying attention to those trials. And also, a drug is being developed by Fujifilm Toyama Chemical in Japan. I kind of imagine maybe a 1-hour cure or something like that. But it's showing some promising outcomes in treating at least mild to moderate cases of COVID-19. So things are happening out there, and they are definitely working towards getting us back to normal. Some of the most promising data and results, though, definitely coming out of North Korea. Yeah, I said that right. North Korea. I know you don't believe me, but check it out. Their World Health Organization representative still maintaining the North Koreans have not had a single case of the coronavirus. And you got to be thinking, how does this happen? Was it social distancing? What was it? No. Sources close to the shit show have told us it was all on the efforts of these researchers.
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. That's really bad reporting.
I'm not wearing any pants.